Hello everybody, and welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about UFC 280, and it is happening on a Saturday later this week, and it is one of the most stacked UFC cards this year. I mean, if you look at every single fight on the main card, Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev, Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw, Petr Yan versus Sean O Malley, we even have Belal Muhammad. All of these guys are main event guys. They're capable of holding a main event of their own, and yet we are getting all of them on a main card together. Like, isn't that brilliant? And obviously I'm super excited for this event overall. This is one of the things that the UFC does really well. They build cards around fighters that we want to see. They don't just keep us occupied by the main event, they also attract attention with other great fighters that are also on the card. However, in this video, we're going to be talking about Petr Yan versus Sean O Malley. I'm planning to do a mini 3-video series where I upload 3 videos of the last 3 fights on the main card. And in this video specifically, I'm going to talk about Petr Yan versus Sean O Malley and what I think is going to go down. And after this video, I'm going to have 2 other videos that are going to come out that's going to cover Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw and Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So Petr Yan versus Sean O Malley. A lot of people think this fight is a complete mismatch. If you go on social media, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, if you look at the comments or if you look at what people think about this fight, a lot of the people are saying,
"Oh, Yan by whatever he wants. Sean O Malley isn't even gonna touch Petr Yan. Yan by domination. Yan's gonna sleep Sean O Malley."
And in my opinion, I think this fight is actually more competitive than people think. And I'll explain my reasoning later on in the video. But I'll start off with this. Sean O Malley is the golden boy in the bantamweight division. Sean O Malley is the golden boy in the bantamweight division because of not only his skill as a fighter, but how he carries himself outside of the cage. You know, he's a big draw in the bantamweight division. If anything, he's probably the biggest draw in the bantamweight division. I can't think of another fighter that is bigger than him, or I don't think there's another fighter that fans are excited to see fight, regardless if you like him or not. He's got a big brand, a big following outside of the cage as well. He just knows how to promote a fight and how to promote himself in the fight game. And without a doubt, this is the toughest fight of O'Malley's career, but it's still a win regardless because he was able to leap like what, 7 levels to get to the level before the main boss. For Sean O Malley, this fight benefits him more than any other fight in his career. He's able to fight against somebody that is legit, if anything more than legit, somebody that was a former champion in this division. Win or lose for Sean O Malley, he'll learn a lot from this fight. But the question everybody wants to know, can Sean O Malley realistically beat Petr Yan? And in my opinion, I think yes. And the reason why I say yes is because styles make fights. Everybody has a certain style, and some people they match up better against other fighters, whereas other fighters they don't match up with other fighters because of their style. And Sean O Malley, if I have to describe his style, I would say he's more of a bouncy, kind of a karate-like style where he's on his toes, managing distance, and trying to bait his opponents to come forward so he can land a counter shot. Essentially, he's an elusive counter striker. The dude is real bouncy on his feet. I mean, he has good footwork, he has good timing, good speed, which is what he considers to equate to power. He's also real creative with his striking as well, very unpredictable, and he can fight from the back foot as well. And not only that, the man has a lot of confidence in himself, which is to be expected because he considers himself to be the best in the division. He thinks he's gonna be world champion, etc. He's been saying stuff like, "Oh, I'll stop Petr Yan," which is extremely rare because Petr Yan has never been stopped, and to stop a guy like Petr Yan is going to take a lot. And he's also said that he'll be surprised if he doesn't drop Petr Yan. He was surprised that Petr Yan even took the fight. So in O'Malley's head, he believes that he's more than capable of beating Petr Yan. And for me, I think the game plan for Sean O Malley is to use his size. O'Malley, he's really big, he's really tall, he's really lanky for this weight class. And I think he will stay at his range, use long range attacks to keep his distance, and try to use feints, which is what he's good at, to bait Petr Yan to come forward. And when Petr makes mistakes, he's going to try to capitalize. And it's not a bad game plan, but for me, where the issue lies is that I think Petr Yan's pressure, where he's going to throw hard leg kicks, along with his boxing combinations, I think eventually he'll get a hold of O'Malley and break him down. Petr Yan, although he has good boxing, his kicking game is pretty much just as good. And Petr, he's definitely going to attack the legs of Sean O Malley. People have watched the tape of him against Chito Vera. They've seen that Chito Vera was able to knock off his perennial nerve. And Pedro Munoz was also trying to utilize the same game plan as well. So I think Petr Yan will try to employ a similar strategy as well. considering the fact that O'Malley has a big tendency to move around the octagon. And Petr Yan, he's a fighter that prioritizes quality over quantity, meaning that he's a fighter who puts efficiency over activity. Every strike that he throws will be a powerful strike. There are guys in the division that has insane pacing and they have a high work rate. But with Petr Yan, he waits for his opportunity and he sets up his opportunities, and every single time he lets his hands go, it's always going to be a mean punch or a kick. And although Petr's biggest strength is on the feet, I mean, the guy is a great pressure fighter. He has good setups, his combinations, his striking defense with his high guard, his IQ as a fighter, and his power for this division. I mean, the list goes on. It is clear to me that he is the best striker in the bantamweight division. However, for some reason, a part of me is getting this feeling that he might want to test O'Malley's grappling in this fight. Not because he can't stand with him, but because Petr Yan wants to make reads, which is what he's good at, and he also wants to know where O'Malley is at. Because there are still so many questions about O'Malley's ability as a fighter. O'Malley has not fought anybody that is on the caliber of Petr Yan. And when he has somebody who can break his range and get on the inside, how will Sean O'Malley react? Let's say O'Malley comes forward with a 1-2 and Yan is able to catch all those shots and counter with a hard shot. Or if O'Malley is fatigued by all of the pressure, how will he react? When things are getting tough and O'Malley has to dig deep, how will he respond? These are all of the things that we want to know about Sean O'Malley. And we were supposed to get these answers when he fought Pedro Munoz, but it was just a shame that the fight ended the way it ended. So my official prediction for this fight, I don't think Petr Yan will stop Sean O'Malley. I truly believe that Sean O'Malley will do better than people think. And in my opinion, he has the style to beat Petr Yan. I personally won't be surprised, like how everyone else will be, if Sean O'Malley does indeed beat Petr Yan. Sean O'Malley, he is somebody who is a legit contender in this division. Yeah, he's fought a lot of people that shouldn't be in the cage with him, but in those fights he has shown real abilities, real skill, and real talent to compete with the top of the division. And there are some weaknesses from Petr Yan that Sean O'Malley can capitalize on. For an example, Petr Yan, since he likes to throw a lot of powerful blows, sometimes Petr Yan can overcommit. We've seen it against Corey Sandhagen where he's walking forward, throwing big strikes, and missing and overcommitting. But instead of countering, Corey Sandhagen would just back up. If Sean O'Malley gets those opportunities, he could land a good counter strike on Petr Yan. And Sean O'Malley, for his size, he does have good power. Petr Yan also sometimes can walk into things as well. Since his hands are real high, it leaves the body and his legs open. And one of O'Malley's biggest weapons are his long teeps, his long straight shots. But I feel like if O'Malley's back is up against the cage, I think Petr Yan will take full advantage of it and throw hard combinations, ripping the body, chopping down the legs, and throwing hooks around the guard. And all in all, this is a good fight for both men, because whoever wins this fight is going to get a shot at the title, and people around the world, including me, are expecting O'Malley to lose. But even if O'Malley loses, I mean, let's be honest, he'll find a way to cover up his loss. I mean, have you seen what he did with the Chito Vera loss? I mean, the dude has broke out every single reason to make it make sense in his head that he is undefeated. But in the long run, I think this fight will benefit Sean O'Malley's career massively. And that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I have to say, and let me know, do you think Sean O'Malley can pull off the upset, or do you think Petr Yan will get his shot at the title again? Drop a comment and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys enjoy content that is related to combat sports, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. And also to make sure to be on the lookout for my next two videos on TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling and Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. And other than that, it's been Steven, signing out. Peace.